All right, we have a new water freezer test. Just got it out of the freezer. New cup here, mug, and it's been in there about 14 hours. So I put it in about midnight last night, and it's almost 2 p.m. the next day. And so we can see that vortex in the middle that we saw in the last one. It's kind of a tornado vortex, as I call it. A little bit of stalactites down here, but mostly it's just that vortex. And this is just from a basic freebie. Now the freebies are the MMSSO matrix only. That's metal, mineral, salt, sand, ormus. And so we have a lot of metals and salts and sands and, and orbitally rearranged monoatomic elements, and the crystal portion is basically a couple different sizes of quartz sand. So this is, I would say, an average size freebie you get in an order. Repeat buyers get multiple ones of these, so you could use these for many purposes, and I like to use them for the freezer test. So let's go take a look at this in the sun. Okay, now we're in the sun. We can see a little bit better lighting in there, and so we'll compare this to a control sample, and we'll see if it is similar to our last test, where it was basically just kind of this top part up here and no defined vortex in there. And so if you're thinking, well, who cares, what does that really mean if there's a vortex when there's orgonite underneath? Well, it's similar to Kirlian photography. When you take a picture of a pyramid with a Tesla coil and copper, and the natural geometric shape of a pyramid will produce that. But you can see with the tower buster, we're not even using a pyramid shape. We're just using the power of those elements combined together, melded together. We have the Casimir effect with when you put a bunch of metals in very close proximity, they release a charge. You have the piezoelectric effect with the salts, like the Rochelle salts and pink Himalayan salts, the sand, and then the quartz, a bunch of little tiny quartz. So all that together is going to give off a charge to where you don't even need to have a pyramidal shape to create a vortex. Pretty cool, huh? But when you add those elements into a pyramid, then you have the shape plus the elements and all the piezoelectricity and conductivity. And so that's why the pyramids are a little more potent, because we're adding that natural shape. So anyways, let's do a control sample, shall we? And after that, we'll do another one with a neodymium. I think I'll do like a tree of life or something, just to see what that looks like. So yeah, pretty cool to see another tornado vortex. And we took our control sample out, left it in for about 14 hours, and this is what we see. Don't see any vortex down there. Just kind of frozen water. Let's see what it looks like in our outside. Pretty chemmed out though. I don't know if we're going to be able to get a good look at this. Okay, the actual sun poked through. We've had a kind of chem hazy day, so we can see a little bit. Now those look like stalactites, but they're not. They're just, the stalactites are kind of like, they're very jagged. They look like little lasers. Those are just like little air bubbles, and I don't see any vortex in there. So it's just the same as our last control sample. So let's see what our next test looks like. And we're going to use one of the orgonites that has a neodymium magnet, rare earth magnet in it. But yeah, this control sample, we don't see any stalactites and we don't see any vortex, just kind of plain. Okay, just took this out and used an iPad shield this time for about 14 hours, and there's our vortex. Pretty defined. Let's go take a look at it in the sun. I like to just compare the light in here and then with the sun. A little contrast, So there it is in the middle. Pretty apparent, pretty obvious. between, you know, you can see the difference obviously between the control samples and this one. So, you know, just to kind of visualize what's occurring, you can almost see how it kind of toruses, how it's a little thicker than thinner, then gets thicker again. So I feel like that torus field is what we're experiencing with orgone energy. When you place like a big pyramid down in your room, that torus vortex sort of encompasses the room, and so it's this capacitor, this transistor that's just pulling in energy and torusing it up. And so I've said that a few times, but that's why I like to put them on the ground, not necessarily grounding, but just as close to the ground as possible, because you'll cover more area with that torus vortex when it's down on the ground, you know. And you know, pull in that dead energy and pull it into the device and then transmute it right in that middle portion there. It's what I feel, you know, just intuitively how it works. And then vortex it up and in throughout your room. And so that's why you can put these devices under your bed, and you'll get to experience that like directly, you know, and it'll affect your sleep. You'll be able to get that deep REM sleep, lucid dreams, which are really fun and interesting and revealing. I feel like I learned stuff about my past and myself, my relationships in these dreams. It's really amazing. So, you know, and sleep is our repair time, remember. So we need to get our deep repair, you know, especially with like all the fear that's out there and the anxiety, you know, and if you're not sleeping on top of it, you know. So, another vortex, and I think I'm going to try to find some thicker glass, because on the old tests I used where there's just crazy stalactite formations, the glass I used was like a mason jar, and I would put it in for 7-8 hours, but I was told that you have to put it in for at least, you know, 12 hours. 24 hours is actually pretty optimal. So that'll be my next test, is I'll try and find something really thick, and we'll go for like 24 hours. This is a 14-hour test. But that concludes another test with the iPad Shield.